New Jersey's been slapped with a record 9 credit downgrades and is facing a 10th, principally because public worker pensions and the Transportation Trust Fund to fix roads and bridges are underfunded. A new NJ Capitol Report series on legislative leaders is intended to drill down on our most intractable challenges. Its co-host is Steve Adubato, who's here now. Thanks.
Great to be here.
You've talked to both the Assembly Speaker and the Senate President about what to do about the Transportation Trust Fund. Are they in agreement about what has to happen to fund it?
Nobody is in agreement about very much down in the State House. And this whole Legislative Leaders series, MaryAlice, looks at the key issues. The Transportation Trust Fund, whether we should have a gas tax, the estate tax, property taxes, what do you do with Atlantic City, the casinos in northern New Jersey? All of these legislative leaders, the Democrats, Republicans, what happens if Chris Christie does come back to New Jersey after this presidential campaign, if it doesn't work out the way he wants to? The whole question in this series is, what happens in the State House and how does it affect the people of New Jersey? Because I don't think we understand that very well.
We watched Governor Christie broker a deal for Atlantic City, right? And is it going to take him to be here in Trenton with the guys? It's going to take FaceTime for us to get anything done? You
know, Governor Christie, he came back right before the State of the State address, you know, and he's out there doing his thing nationally. He came back, and I will tell you, if it were not for Governor Christie, in my opinion, Vincent Prieto, the Speaker of the House, and the Senate President Steve Sweeney, who had two different views on northern New Jersey casinos, it wasn't going to happen if Christie didn't get involved, get them in a room and say, look, we need a compromise. And that is why there's going to be a constitutional amendment on the ballot November 8th for 2 New Jersey casinos in northern New Jersey. If Christie doesn't get involved, I don't think that happens. If Christie does come back, if the presidential campaign doesn't work out the way he wants to, he's going to have to be involved for things to happen. Because a lot of the Democrats don't even agree with each other.
The pension issue. What did Senator Kaine and John Bramnick say about that?
Well, I will tell you, we had this clip with the Senate President talking about the pension issue. He clearly says we need the constitutional amendment. But I will tell you that Bramnick and Kaine think it's the worst idea. The governor thinks it's the worst idea. If you want, I can do this thing with Sweeney. Well, here's the thing with the Senate President. The Senate President, when I talked to him, he had just about been ready to introduce the resolution for the constitutional amendment. When I asked him why, he said, look, we cut a deal for the pensions in 2011 with the governor, but apparently we didn't do enough to force the governor, MaryAlice, to actually make the payments. And because he didn't believe they were going to make the payments, then he had this constitutional amendment, and that's what we're going to go to right now, that clip with the Senate President, Steve Sweeney.
Because the courts said, if you want to guarantee the payment, you have to write it this way. So we wrote the language exactly the way the courts told us to. You know, and it was in a decision with the teachers back in '06. So we really felt that we were in solid ground, that even if the governor chose not to make the payment, he would be forced to by court. And you saw the courts said you don't have to. Yeah, but you know something? 800,000 people, Steve. That's 10% of the people of this state. You know, we have 8 million plus people are actually in a position that they could see their pensions really be significantly reduced. That will be an enormous impact to the economy of the state if we let that happen.
What about our double death taxes? We have estate and inheritance taxes. Is there any compromise possible on those?
MaryAlice, this is a huge issue that you're raising. We're the only state other than Maryland that has the estate and the inheritance tax. I believe there's going to be a compromise to get rid of or reduce the estate tax. Those are the taxes you pay on your estate above $675,000. And that is what I believe the Republicans and the Democrats will agree on if the Republicans will agree, believe it or not, to vote for an increase in the gas tax to fund this thing called the Transportation Trust Fund, which puts the money into the Transportation Fund so that we can fix our roads and bridges. You say, what does that have to do with anything? That's how they get compromised.
Very quickly, in your conversations with legislative leaders, are we going to get anything done?
Some things done, not all the things we need to, but we need everyone working together. And I will tell you, there's more disagreement than I want to acknowledge, but there is.
All right. Steve Adubato, thank you very much. And you can see Steve's conversations with New Jersey legislative leaders on NJTV on Saturday at 5:30 and again on Sunday morning at 8 and on WNET Saturday at 8:30 a.m.